Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us at Liminal for this yet another exciting episode of All About Blockchain, wherein we talk about everything under the roof of this dynamic world of Web3. I'm Akansha Sharma, Manager PR and Events at Liminal. Liminal is a wallet infrastructure platform for securing your digital assets. Our customizable plug and play wallet architecture helps crypto native companies to improve their operational efficiency and ensure utmost cost optimization. Before we move on to this today's topic of discussion, I would like to take a small minute to thank our followers. And if you are new to this channel, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Without any further ado, let's just deep dive into today's topic of discussion, that is the present and future of blockchain interoperability. In our previous episodes, we have discussed about Web3, automation, multi-chain, and compliance. And for this today's episode, we are going to touch upon this very nice topic. And for this, we have a very special guest with us. I would like to introduce Matt. He manages business development at Router Protocol. Router Protocol is building critical infrastructure that facilitates seamless cross-chain liquidity flows. I would also like to welcome our host for today, Laxmi Rathore. She is Associate Manager Content at Liminal. Hi, Lakshmi. Over to you.
Hi, Akansha, and thank you so much for the brief introduction. With this, I again welcome you all to yet another session of All About Blockchain. And today I will be in conversation with Matthias Yap, aka Matt. Matthias, over to you. Please tell us about how you ventured into the blockchain space and how your journey has been so far.
Hey Laxmi, thanks for the introduction. Thanks for having me with this. Special shout out to Manashi on Router team that you guys connected with. And thanks for the Router team for giving me this chance to also represent them and just kind of talk a bit about what we do and how we've been running. But this question you asked, like, how did I get into the blockchain space? I started through my friend who introduced me to invest in this sphere, but without buying any Bitcoin, he told me that, hey, if you just convert some of your current Malaysian ringgit into like this US cryptocurrency like USDT and just deposit it into this guys. What they do is they arbitrage trade and they'll give out daily payouts, and that was really it. That's how I started moving money around, from converting money from fiat to crypto to moving that off an exchange into this trading platform where I was given quite a lucrative daily payout, but it was a rug at the end of the day. And so um, that's when I found out a few other friends who got rugged as well. They told me about how they're getting safer payouts from DeFi, stuff like Iron Finance and stuff. And so that's when I got in May 2021 with Iron Finance on Polygon, and then looked into Anchor as well. So yes, I was a bit affected earlier this year, but yeah, and so I was doing that while I was doing, I think, my 6th or 7th year in business development. Then I was then in a different industry, my third industry, which was human resource recruitment consulting. So I was in a way sourcing for talents um, for for quite a big firm. I think it was Michael Page. Yeah, it's Michael Page. I was hesitant about revealing the name, but yeah, it was Michael Page. And I was having difficulty focusing on my day job and being a DGen. So came to a point where I had to choose, because I was genuinely very enthusiastic about blockchain, the community behind every project, just the entire Web3 space and the guys on Twitter. Everyone had such a builder mindset and open source mindset, and I love the whole startup kind of vibe. So I resonated really quick with the community and everything behind it. So yeah, I think that was how I got into it in the early years in 2021. I then eventually quit my DD career. I left Michael Page in the end of 2021 to teach DeFi as a business. So I was just teaching non-Web3 people to get into Web3. Um, like I guide them through a video call, and so I was doing it for quite a bit, but that didn't pay the bills. So my fiance then said, "You got to get a job," and so I applied for work, and Router was one of the companies that got back to me, and we did an interview, and I joined first as their community manager, and soon when the bear market hit, we had to pivot to business development because we needed more manpower, more resources that way to kind of sustain or like to kind of continue to bring in the business for Router. And yeah, we have been bringing quite a lot of partnerships. Shout out to our partnerships team. They're quite a strong gang of guys, just raking in partners. We've probably brought in quite a few partners by now. Yeah, so journey's been great. I think I'm grateful. I'm very grateful for the opportunity, stepping in and really from someone who I'm not really a tech person. I mean, I'm great at using existing tools to get things done, but I'm not a maker or like creator out of nothing. But I'm still bullish and here to build with the space. So the journey has been great. It's very encouraging. The people I met online and as well as those at events have been very, very encouraging. I think everyone has a really open source mindset, and I like that. Those are the people I enjoy meeting. The devs are really friendly. I've gotten to meet some of the devs in Malaysia as well. So it's been a very wonderful journey so far.
It was very lovely listening to your whole story. It sounds very much like a roller coaster ride. And yeah,
So that's how actually blockchain
so
industry is. Everybody is helping everybody out, and it's like a big extended family wherein they help each other and grow together.
blockchain did come with a lot of opportunities for people, and it has been a thriving technology altogether. Changed a lot of things for a lot of people,
Mhm.
but we all would very much agree with the fact that it has its own challenges, and I would want you to highlight on about some of those challenges and tell us about how interoperability can change that.
Yeah, okay. So blockchain obviously is a great, like it's amazing technology, like it's open source and it's very community, peer-to-peer based, right? So it means it's something that will require like community and mass adoption. So the thing about blockchains is it comes with a fundamental issue because we're so early in this, right? People started creating blockchain after blockchain after blockchain, like blockchains with different characteristics, different consensus mechanisms, different rules, guidelines, governance models, just all sorts of blockchains. Some were forks of one another. Some you had to code in an entire different language, like Solana or like the Cosmos ecosystem, versus Ethereum, which codes in Solidity, right? So um, because of the differences and all these blockchains, as people kept making more different blockchains, there was an issue that I think it's there. It's the white elephant in the room, meaning it's quite a big issue, but no one's really addressing it. It's that okay, we created another chain, but then we talk about okay, does your chain operate with mine? Like, does the assets or your contracts on your chain communicate with mine? Like, are they compatible? Are they interoperable in that sense? So that's where interoperability comes in. Um, and this is probably an issue that obviously we would say should have been addressed at the start before you made the second blockchain, right? But I, it didn't occur to most founders or builders until it became really a limited, quite an issue. But I think because we are so early in it, and you could say quite a bulk of blockchain users, or at least the users that are on chain, like in DeFi, or NFTs, anyone that's building on a specific blockchain or using a specific blockchain, tend to be focused in their chain only. And I think Ethereum obviously has a very huge head start, and the volume and the percent dominance, I guess, of or like the accumulation of these users, or the population of the entire ecosystem, much of it would the majority of it would be on Ethereum. Although we see there's so many like 200 plus blockchains already, but still it is undeniable that the bulk of them are still comfortable building on Ethereum and its rollups or side chains, right? So how interoperability helps with this issue is that these blockchains now are siloed, and they are all like um, in their own islands in that sense. And if they're siloed on their own islands, you need to connect them. You need to move liquidity. What happens is liquidity is fragmented across these different islands. So obviously, due to the bulk of the population in the block in the entire Web3 ecosystems, um, likely sits on Ethereum because of it being the pioneer, and a lot of people have established so much on it, um, and because of its security. Uh, Bulk of it will be on Ethereum, and then there are other users who are also using other blockchains, and we would face issues of say, okay, now I want to have a transaction done on, let's say, Solana, but most of my assets are on Ethereum. How do I do that? This was not possible, I think, a year back, but within the last year, we've probably seen a lot of interoperability platforms come into play, or interoperability services like bridges, cross-chain swaps, cross-chain messaging layers. So these are just avenues or services, products that have come into play to kind of fill that gap and facilitate for assets to be movable across different chains. So that makes your asset interoperable as well across different chains. So it can exist not just on Ethereum, it could exist on Phantom, Avalanche, Solana, etc. And so, yeah, that's a bit about interoperability. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, of course, of course. It has indeed, this technology has indeed helped a lot of existing challenges that a lot of us were facing, even from the user's perspective or from the enterprise's perspective. And with this, the next question that pop-ups in my head is, we know how it is helping a lot of people, but how exactly does it work?
Okay, so right now with let's take an example of the current blockchain situation on the Ethereum blockchain. So most of your tokens, your assets, your tokenized assets are in a ERC20 state. They are ERC20 tokens existing on the Ethereum chain. But that, let's say, USDC token, which is a ERC20 token on the Ethereum chain. If we're looking for an equivalent of that on the Binance Smart Chain, the BSC, it would be in a BEP20 token. So there is a difference in token standards. So how it works is that interoperability, first and foremost, enables you to move that amount that you have from one chain to the other chain, like from your ERC20 USDC on Ethereum will be able to be moved to Binance Smart Chain, and when that happens, it doesn't exist at its ERC20 state, but it is a BEP20 token, US BEP20 USDC on the Binance Smart Chain. So that's generally how it looks like. I won't go too much into detail, but just on a high level, there are a few ways to facilitate that transaction that I just mentioned, like USDC on Ethereum onto USDC on BSC. You could use bridges, you could use a cross-chain swap, cross-chain aggregator as well could probably get you that swap route and could swap um, your token over. Typically, what happens is they would lock this amount on the source chain, and then they would unlock that same amount on the destination chain, or they would burn this amount on the source chain, and they would mint the same amount on the other chain. In a nutshell, that's a very very simple mechanism, and it's not the detailed one, but on a high level, that's just what it is. Interoperability wise.
So, because you just mentioned terms like cross-chain bridges or cross-chain aggregators for that matter, can you
Yep.
please also enlighten us with more information on these topics? Because these are actually some of the ways in which you can achieve interoperability.
Yeah, sure. So when I mean bridges, as we know in our physical world, a bridge connects you from one piece of land to another piece of land, and so you need a bridge to connect you across. So similarly, now if we see these blockchains as siloed islands, you need a bridge to connect you from one island to the other. Um, so that build a bridge typically is that like it's a connector between two blockchains, and it what happens on the bridge is it has its own bridge contract with liquidity, meaning it has reserve assets of USDC or any assets that needs to be stored so that you can actually move that, more like you can exchange that asset that's on the source chain, like you lock it here and then they will release it from their bridge contract onto the destination chain. That's one way in terms of a bridge. Yeah.
Can you think of some examples or
Yeah.
the platform that uses these kind of technologies?
Yeah, so that was a bridge, and there's also aggregators. So aggregators find the best route among all these bridges. There are a lot of bridges out there already. Um, there's even for ours, we started out building a bridge, which then became a cross-chain swap. But our model at Router is a bit different in the sense that we don't just build one bridge from, let's say, a traditional bridge model would look like it's built from Ethereum to Polygon, and then they say, oh, now we need to connect to Binance Smart Chain. Let's do another bridge from Ethereum to Binance Smart Chain. Oh, now we need to connect Polygon to Binance Smart Chain. Let's do a Polygon to Binance Smart Chain. That way, you would have to create a new route every time you would want to have a new chain. But for Router, what happens is that we actually build a mesh network in the middle. So we just need to any chain that wants to have access to the other chains that we're part of already just needs to integrate to our mesh network in the middle. Am I able to just share quickly maybe a diagram, if that's okay, on my screen?
Sure.
Okay, so it looks like this. So this is what I meant by that. Instead of building one to like Ethereum to Polygon, like Ethereum to BSC, Ethereum to Avalanche, we would just integrate them directly with our mesh network, where it is basically our cross-chain messaging layer here, and it has nodes of its own and relayers to facilitate for the asset transfers between any chain. So if the asset wants to go from Polygon to once Polygon has integrated with us, it can then move assets across, like Polygon to Ethereum, Polygon to BSC, Polygon to Avalanche, or any of these, so long it's integrated. Yeah, so that was what I wanted to show. Of course, there are other bridges out there. Like Polygon has their native bridge as well. And I think Ethereum has some native bridges as well.
Right now, you just highlighted a key challenge that is there in the interoperability itself, and how routers or bridges are actually solving that key challenge. Could you please help us, in knowing some of the other challenges that also exist with this new budding technology?
Yeah. So in terms of you know, cross-chain compatibility or just blockchain interoperability in itself, um, I think the challenge we face now is being a trustless entity, like fully trustless. So it is a bit like the decentralization trilemma, whether it's scalable, secure, or decentralized, and that you can't have all these three at once. The same rule applies kind of to bridges as well. So we have these similar issues where if you want it to like if you I think they we have like a very detailed side of things. Let me show the screen again because this one is a bit beyond I think what I can explain, but I will try. Um, so this is what it comes to when it comes to the bridge architecture trade-offs that these three are the methods typically for when someone needs to build a bridge. And as you can see, you would have to sacrifice on one aspect. And these are very, very technical if we go on, but these are the factors that they consider. And the challenge is that, if you want it to be secure, stateful, and capital efficient, you can't have the speed, you can't have the connectivity. That's if you're using like clients and relays to build your cross-chain bridge or platform or swap. And then the other is that if you're using external validators and federations, speed, connectivity, and statefulness will be a strength, but you may not be the most secure and you might not be the most capital efficient. And the other is that if you use liquidity networks, you have speed and security, but you trade off on the rest as well. So I can leave details to this article that Masari wrote on router protocol for cross-chain, but I thought it was something that it was an article that was written for us that I thought I wanted to share because it really highlights, I think, the challenges when it comes to building something to solve the interoperability problem. That is that there is no one solution to it just yet. There are multiple services and products out there, teams that are building cross-chain layers and cross-chain swaps, cross-chain bridges. But the challenge is real. That there is no holistic solution just yet. It comes to trade-offs. I know of another cross-chain messaging layer protocol that relies on oracles, and so the risk of using an oracle is there as well, a price oracle. And on our end, we are still developing. We have plans to go V2, and the challenge is obviously moving to a more decentralized and more a more architecture that's a bit more holistic, closer to like Cosmos's IBC structure, interblockchain, blockchain of blockchains kind of a model, instead of relying on just a bridge contract and just a limited amount of nodes, relayers to facilitate these cross-chain transactions. Yeah, so the challenge is there in that sense.
So, like, of course, there are challenges, and with the passing time, we hope all of these challenges would not be challenges anymore. And of course, users like us, we really look up to these big techies and enterprises to come up with new solutions to the newer problems, and then maybe create more problems, and then maybe create new solutions. So yeah, because we just talked about challenges, and you already have highlighted a lot of benefits this technology is bringing for us. Do you want to highlight on some other benefits that, or some other advantages that we have received after the introduction of this technology, in terms of money, or in terms of time, in terms of user experience, or even from the enterprise perspective, because you of course are from one. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think so. In terms of these cross-chain platforms, in that are built on chain, meaning they are decentralized and they sit in between blockchains, meaning these are typically, I would say, protocols that you would use um, after you've moved your assets out from centralized exchanges and you're now in the DeFi space, like you're in the decentralized space, right? This is definitely a huge up. Like users probably don't have to rely on centralized exchanges. I think some users could actually just use fiat on ramp, buy crypto using their cards straight into their wallets, and they could then just move between chains really quickly. So they could do it. They could buy. They didn't have back then. You had to probably just go through any crypto exchange, send your money to MetaMask on Ethereum. But today it's a lot different. Today there are so many on rampers, fiat on rampers that you could just purchase crypto with your card. It goes straight into your MetaMask wallet on whatever layer one chain you want, maybe Polygon, and then you decide, oh, let's go buy an NFT on Ethereum, and I'll just use like one of the cross-chain bridges, and I'll just move my assets straight onto Ethereum and buy the NFT. So it's that easy. That's definitely a benefit of it. It's a lot like having a foreign exchange, like how we have currency exchange where we are. Your currency is only good in your country, which is kind of like what it used to be before bridges came around. Like your ETH is only as good, or your USDC is only good in Ethereum, but it's no good in like Binance Smart Chain. And so what this does is it's like one of those fintech solutions like TransferWise or PayPal or something like that, where hey, I could send money right away into my account right there in that different country. It's like remittance with that, but I'm doing this all with like a really minimal fee because I think that's the beauty of DeFi, where people are always building for more efficient and more cost-effective solution. So it probably costs people so much gas to do a transaction on Ethereum then, but now you could probably not go through Ethereum to get your money and lose all that money to gas, but now you could get your money straight into one of the blockchains that cost way less on gas, maybe like Polygon or Binance Smart Chain, and then move it around.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So with this, we are actually in the almost last segment of our session, and so how the efficiency and usability of blockchain solutions that we just talked about is actually determining the future of blockchain technology. And what are your thoughts on it? Like your perspective from everything that you have experienced in this space up until now. Where do you see this going?
Yeah. Honestly, this space is a very decentralized space. The whole ethos behind Bitcoin and blockchain is very, very open source. Decentralization is all about that. So the nature of things are like that. And I believe interoperability is key. It is like an essential element to facilitate the fragmentation of blockchain liquidity across different blockchains, because there's no way we can undo what's being done, and people are only going to create more and more. So more of these blockchains are coming about, and the issue will still remain: how are these blockchains getting connected? How are they interconnected? To create one whole network to connect the entire blockchain ecosystem, all the blockchains that exist, would be a very, very huge task. And to have one centralized party do that would be, it could be possible, but I see that as a very, very big task. I would say the efforts would be much better off directed towards building interoperability solutions and facilitating the growth of these blockchains. Obviously, that is a concern that, what if someone comes and build one unifying network that unifies all blockchains? then where will the need for interoperability solutions be? For sure, that question will be there, but judging from the open source ethos, decentralization nature of things in this space, I think people will build more and build more decentralized solutions than rely or try to build something centralized to just unify everything. So the way forward is probably more interoperable solutions, or probably um, more advanced products that come out from this that will actually enhance our user experience of blockchain. Yep.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, there's definitely no looking back or moving back from here, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just a matter of time, where uh, a lot of new things will be coming up. And with this, guys, I really want to thank you, Matt, for being here with us. And
Thank you.
it was a pleasure, and it was a complete honor to be in
Oh, thank
conversation
you.
with you, to hear your perspective on the topic. Of course, a big thank you to all our viewers, and I really want you to keep following us and following our other social media handles, liking and supporting and sharing our videos and our posts. Thank you so much, Akansha, as well. And I guess Akansha would be saying us a better goodbye. If you guys are not yet liminal secure, I really want you to be, because it is the new definition of security. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Wow, it was really a very insightful session. I'm sure as much as I learned from this session, all our listeners must have too. Thank you so much, Matt, for being here and sharing your knowledge with us. I'm sure each one of us who has heard this about this session must have gained some knowledge from it. I would also like to thank you, Lakshmi, for being such a nice co-host and for helping us throughout this. This webinars are attempt at spreading more knowledge and educating the masses about blockchain and crypto. And if you want to talk about any specific topic just like this in our upcoming episodes, please do comment and let us know. We come up with new episodes every alternate Thursday, so don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And if you want to know more about Liminal, you can click on our website, and the link is mentioned right in the description box below. Thank you so much. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Lakshmi, once again. It was really, really nice to have you both here.